Good morning. Good morning. How you doing? This has been a very interesting week. Yes, today is Thursday. This week is almost in its completion within itself. Um, but yeah, if you can hear me, let me know. Just put down. I don't care what you put in the chat. Thumbs up. Yes. No. Whatever it is, just put something. Just so I know that technology is not winning today. All right. I think that's too simple. That's a simple request to ask. Um, but yeah, today we're talking about push. Just real simple. We're talking about push. That's a simple word. It's a four-letter word that has so much power. It's a four-letter word that has so much grace, and four-letter word that has and embraces empathy. A four-letter word that has and embrace power. But are you willing to embrace it for yourself? So let me put the caption up. And I'm interested in just hearing your reply to this question. Peace. Good morning, Miss Tori. Are you ready to push? That's a simple question. Are you ready to push? Are you ready to push past your fears? Are you ready to push past your pain? Are you ready to push past your anxieties? Are you ready to push past the difficulties? Whatever it is, you have to have a component or a level of push. And the reason why I say a level of push, because there's going to be situations and circumstances that you may find yourself in that you just don't feel like it. Like you may feel like you don't have it in you. But that's when you tell yourself that we got to push, we got to go, we got to keep going. We have a mission, we have a journey, we have whatever it is. It is time for us to get to that place. But oftentimes, getting to that place just takes something as simple as saying, push. Real easy. Just telling yourself to push can get you there. Just telling yourself to push can realign your commitment. Just telling yourself to push can give you energy. Just telling yourself to push may get you out of that emotional rut. Just telling yourself to push can birth a nation just by saying something that's so simple to you, of just saying push. All right, so that's my intro. But like always, good morning, and I appreciate you for being here. It is Thursday, February the 9th. It is the second week of February. Out of these 52 weeks, we're in the second month already. But again, my appreciation for you, my gratitude for you being here will always be up front and always be open, and on the forefront of starting it, because again, you can be anywhere in the morning, especially around this time, 7:30, especially when I'm on time, 7:30, and everything is working. Technology is not beating it up. Technology is not smothering the vision, or technology is not smothering the message. But when it comes out how it's supposed to come out. And I appreciate you for being here and just having and taking this time out to just listen to whatever is going to be presented to you. And those that's listening on YouTube, if you don't follow it on YouTube, go ahead and just subscribe to the YouTube page. Consistency is currency. If you don't follow it on these podcast distribution sites, which is iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, all of those particular platforms, go ahead and subscribe. Like if you listen to Amazon Music on your Fire Stick, you can go ahead and look up Consistency is Currency while you're watching your TV or you're cleaning up, and search for Consistency is Currency. And you can listen to the podcast while you're doing whatever you're doing inside the house. But again, when you're here, I say appreciation. When you're not here, I appreciate the time that you were here. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. And what I want you to do right now, this morning, is to put the word push in the chat, because we're going to push through some things today, right? We're going to push through some things. We're going to push away from some things. We're going to push toward some things. We're going to push ourselves out of some things. We're going to push ourselves in to some things, right? All right, let's go. Let's realign where we're going by knowing what we want to do. And today we're going to say push. All right, so the first definition of push, I mean, I love these definitions, and I love the way that they were inverted, because the inversion of the definitions really told a different story. Again, these definitions that you can look up yourself, but when you look at definitions and how the message transcends to you, it really begins to align or enlighten you, or put you in a position that, like, man, this definition really hit home. So the first definition that I want you to pay attention to with push, it says move forward by using force to pass people or cause them to move aside. That's push. Move forward by using force to pass people or cause them to move aside. That is the definition of the word push. And the inversion that I want you to pay attention to, let me go back. Make sure you share this live, put it in the Facebook group, or share it on your timeline, or tag somebody that you know that just need a little push this morning, or someone that you know that has been dealing with some things, or someone that you know just need to hear that someone is on their side to tell them to keep going, to push past the things that is in front of them, that it has been blocking them from getting to their destination, because the journey got a little bit rocky. All right. So after you do that, share, put the word done inside the chat. All right. So the inversion that I want you to pay attention to today on this one is white over red. Oh, I can flip this one, but I'm going to start with white over red. White over red, it says moving forward by using force to pass or to move aside. What does that look like? That means that's you getting out of your way, right? You telling yourself, I need to get out of my way. I am moving forward by using force to pass or to move aside. Like, you've been in your way for a long time. You've been in your head for far too long. You have lost your commitment for far too long, but now it's time to tell you, we got to move forward. We got to push past this. Even if you have to force yourself to push past it, you need to push past it by telling you, like, I know why I'm doing it, but now it's time for me to push towards it. And let's flip this inversion real quick. And it just hit me when I looked at it. Let's flip this inversion. The inversions of red over white. Y'all like that? The inversion of red over white said people cause them. That's the excuse. That's the excuse, man. It just, this inversion just spoke like so many different volumes. It says people cause them. That is the excuse of someone saying why they can't push. Someone saying why they haven't got to where they wanted to go, or haven't gotten to that particular avenue, or haven't really accomplished that thing that they said they wanted to accomplish, because they begin to blame it on people. I can't push because people cause them. Again, I'm just giving you definitions. You can look all these definitions up yourself. People cause them. So they said, I can't move forward because people cause them. I can't move aside because I want to say people cause me not to do it. There has to be a level of accountability when it comes to your push. If there is no level of accountability when it comes to your push, you're going to be the inversion of red over white. You're going to say people cause them. People cause me not to get to where I'm supposed to go because I want to take off the responsibility of why I didn't do it, but I want to put the responsibility on somebody else and say people cause them. I'm going to let that go because the other definitions is just as deep. So the second definition that I want you to pay attention to, it says an act of exerting force on someone or something in order to move them away from oneself. And the definition, well, the inversion of the definition is red over white, and it says an act of exerting force to move them away from oneself. That is you moving away from you. You have put yourselves in a box because the box that you put yourself in felt so comfortable that you want to stay there. So pushing you pushed you further up against the wall, and now you're suffocating from your own depression and anxiety. But you have to have an act of exerting the force, like compelling and pushing yourself out of that box and moving you away from you. That's why a lot of times we haven't accomplished the things that we wanted to accomplish, because we put ourselves in a place to where we felt like I've exerted myself too much, so I don't have nothing else left. I don't have anything else left. I can't exert. I feel that I have exerted myself enough, so I quit. But that's when you understand that if I am ever going to get a certain place, I must come from a certain place. And coming from a certain place actually is coming from inside of you. That's having that gut feeling that if I'm going to get to that destination, the journey has to be worth it. And when I understand that the journey is worth it, the destination is now going to be traveled, because I am going to exert my force and move myself out of my way in order to accomplish those things that I know that I can assume. I know that I can have it, but how come I haven't had that? Because I'm still saying people. You blaming it on people. But a lot of times it's not the people, it's the person. Because the other definition, the inversion, said people cause them. It's not the people sometimes, it's your own personal problems that you put it on yourself. So you don't, and you say you can't exert because you put the problems of other people in your own personal life. But when you subtract that and you give yourself the power back and you move out of your own way and you reposition your own self, pushing becomes easy. And the exertion of the force that you take with it, that's you telling you today is the day. Today is my day to act in the exertion of the force and to tell myself to get out of my way because there is something that I'm pushing towards. My destination was a part of my destiny, because if your destination does not have or in line with your destiny, you're going to always find yourself on a broken path, or you're always going to find yourself on a path that leads you to something that you know that you wasn't supposed to do or go. But you want to say people cause them. Like, what's your push? And this last definition of push before we get into the deep dive, it says something that encourages or assists something else. I'm gonna flip this one too, but we're gonna start with white over red, and then we're gonna go in red over white. And I'm open to say, I want you to look at red right now. I'm gonna go with the white, and I want you to go with the red. And remember, we're talking about push. So if you can see how you can take red and analyze it, go ahead and put that into the chat. I'm gonna start with red over white, and then I'm gonna start with white over red, and then I'm gonna go to the red. But I want you to go to the red and put down how you see it. So the inversion that I want you to pay attention to right now is white over red, which is something that encourages or assists. That's you encouraging you. That's you telling you that you got it. That's you being your own mentor. I mean, you got people saying, "Oh, I don't have a mentor. I don't like people." Sometimes you don't even like yourself. Or sometimes you need to be your own mentor. Like, can you encourage you when you feel like you have exerted yourself to where you have nothing else left for you? Your push is going to encourage you. Your push is going to assist you out of that hole. Your push is going to assist you out of the situation, because now it's going to transition that obstacle into the opportunity to correct, or into the opportunity for you to have more, or to have and assume that very thing that you know that you're supposed to have. Can you push you towards it? Can you assist you towards it? Because sometimes you're going to need to help yourself out of your own way, or to help yourself to sitting down and learning more about your craft before you begin to assist or encourage yourself to go back out there and do it again, because you've already felt what exerting yourself looks like, and now you feel that you don't have nothing else. Sit your tail down and recharge, and when you recharge yourself, go back out there and push yourself and assist yourself into bigger, better, and greater things for you. Now we're going to flip this. We're going to get into that red, right? Let's go ahead and get into that red, because that red says something else. Remember the other inversion? It said what? People cause them. And this inversion says something else. Have you ever done some things and you're pushing yourself? Then there's always something else that comes along. Like, good. Oh, it's always something. Like, I'm ready to push, but it's something else that just happened. I'm ready to encourage myself, but it's something else that got in my way. I have assisted myself. I sat down. I've studied these plans. I ordered my steps. I had a counselor. I had a friend. I had a mentor. I wrote it out. I wrote the vision. I made it plain. But there's something else that just came. Like, I don't have nothing else in me, because it always feel like it's something else. I'm ready to push R2, but it's something else happened. I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to hold on, because there is something else. That's when you have to go back and say, you have to find something that encourages you. I don't care if it's something else, but you have to invert that something and take it personal and say, there's something that encourages me. I don't care if there's something else, because I need to encourage myself. I don't care if there's something else, because I need to assist myself out of the hole that I found myself in. Now, because I've got out of that hole, now I can foresee that and go back and get somebody else and to tell them that, you know what, around that corner, there's a hole. Around that corner, there is an obstacle. Why? Because I've been around that corner and I hit that wall before. I fell in that hole and I fell in that ditch before. And I'm gonna tell you, there's something else around that corner. Now, if you go around that corner, you fall into that hole, then I'm gonna need you to find something to encourage you to get yourself out of that hole, because I told you about something else. And I need you to push yourself, to encourage yourself, because now that becomes the experience that you've just gained, because there's something else. So Right now, I'm going to need you to push. I'm going to need you to push. This is the second week of February. I'm going to need you to push. This is the second month of the year. I'm going to need you to push. Don't blame it on something else. I'm going to need you to push. Don't say people cause. I'm going to need you to push. So let's go ahead and go into this deep dive, and I'm going to close it out after that. So sometimes you have to push yourself. How many of you can attest to that? I'm sorry. Sometimes you're going to have to push yourself. Sometimes you're going to have to push yourself past those uncomfortable moments. Because you're going to feel like quitting. But when you encourage your passion to push through your discomfort, even a little bit, you'll find new levels of finesse. Right? Because there's going to be a new level of resilience and having and possessing the skill of push. Because push takes skill. You may have to finesse yourself to tell you, but like, I bet we've seen this before. This is not people, this is personal. Because when you look at it's not people, it's personal, that's you taking accountability for the things that you know that you can do or the things that you know that you did do. It's not people, it's personal, it's you. If it's you, then sit down and encourage yourself and assist yourself to get out of where you are in order for you to get to where you're going, in order for you to assume what you are supposed to have. In order for you to encourage and assist yourself, you have to assist yourself in figuring out, is it people or is it personal? If it's people, then the people that you are around that you're allowing to do that, maybe you need to sit down and examine the people that you surround yourself with. Because push can actually advance your personal development just by telling you to push, just by encouraging yourself to push, just by assisting yourself to push. It can advance your personal development because your push may strengthen your resiliency and teach you how to embrace the uncertainties. Push has to take on a level of conviction. Because if I'm not where I'm supposed to be, then I should have a level of conviction for me to want to tell myself to push past it. Push is also a personal approach. That's not blaming it on the people, but it's taking it personal. I don't think we take things personal enough. I'm not saying taking things personally from people, but taking the personal convictions to want to fix it, or taking the personal convictions to want to correct it. Because like I always say, without conviction, there would be no correction. And there's no better feeling than growth and discovery and development, because it's going to take courage to push. It's going to take a level of commitment that's going to challenge your determination, your dedication, and your discipline in order for you to allow your push to kick in. Because think about it like this. Push is an inner conversation. I mean, like for real. I mean, unless you just want to go to an open field and just yell out, push. I mean, people might look at you crazy, but somebody might get it. Somebody might hear it and be like, hey, let it out. I'm with you. Keep going. I'll see you at the finish line. I'll cheer you on. I get it. I've been there. Pushes that inner conversation. Pushes that voice that you hear when no one else is listening. Sometimes push need to be the loudest voice in your head. Because we're going to have to thoroughly understand the situations and circumstances to overcome the obstacles. Because when quitting was never an option to take, you have to take it off the table. Because at times when we make excuses and try to design legitimate reasons for why we don't do things or can't do things, but what about creating a compelling reason to keep pushing? It's easy to point the finger at somebody and say people caused the or something else, but what if you created something in you to tell you or to compel you to push more? If it's because of your community, you push more than push. If it's because of your children, then you push more than push. If it's because of the legacy that you want to leave to push, then push. Like, what's your reason to push? It's up to you. It's not up to somebody else. It's not up to how you can redesign something. Like, can you design your why? Can you be committed to your commitment? Because I'm gonna tell you, this week has been a week, like for real week. Like, no matter the things and the situations, having things set up and in place, and when it's not happening, it feels like everything is happening, and it gets pressure, and it's pressure that crushes the head. Having headaches, trying to figure out why is these things happening. I had to tell myself to just push, just keep going. Push, stay committed to the commitment. Stay dedicated to the dedication. Be disciplined to the desire. And just push. I know if I can push, pushing is also an option for you. Take that option. Take the excuse off the table. Don't design a legitimate reason on why people caused the. Look at what you can do different. And allow push to be the loudest voice in your head. All right. Man, I appreciate you just for being here, just for listening and having and taking the time out. Encourage yourself. Assist yourself. And tell yourself to push. Because push is the creativity. Like when a woman has a child, she pushes it to life. So push out of your situation, push through your situation, push your idea into existence, push through the adversities, because the vision can only be seen after you've pushed. All right, I appreciate you. Go ahead and put in the comments like what your takeaways and things that you have uh, pushed yourself either into or pushed yourself away from. I'm Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. Be blessed. Peace.